Hey everyone. Not sure if this is recording. I've had a lot of issues with the Facebook Live feature, so I'm going to wait till I see a few people show up to make sure this is actually working. Who's there? Lori. Hi Lori. David. Okay, good. So this must be recording because I did a little tease earlier and it was weird. It cut off. It didn't start at the time when I started it, later when I saved it, and I thought that maybe it wasn't working. So it looks like we're having a lot of people join. Hey Tessa from Paris, Richard from 2 doors down. It's nice that you could join, and I'm gonna grab my iPad and share this on Facebook personal page, and then we'll get started, all right? So how's everyone doing? Hey Frank. So great, looks like a lot of people are joining. I just wanted to make sure that it was actually going live. So I'm gonna just quickly share this as myself to my personal page. And there we go. All right, good. So, hey everyone, thanks for joining me. This is the 8th live stream of 2020, which I can't believe that I've done this many. Who would have ever thought at the beginning of the year when we didn't even know if we could open and I wouldn't be able to have any receptions that I would be able to do that this way. So I'm really happy that this has worked out. So I actually have done a new body of work tonight. But a few people after the last live feed wanted to know a little bit more about me, so I'm just going to quickly say that I'm James Frederick. I'm an artist. I live here in Provincetown, Massachusetts, on Cape Cod, and I've been painting and drawing my whole life, but for the last 7 or 8 years, I've really put a focus on it and moved here to Provincetown. I'm in my 7th year of living here, and it's my 6th season with a studio that's open to the public. So I feel really grateful for the reception that I've had and the ability to work like this. So usually this time of year, I'm presenting a show that I call Parting Glances, which is really about saying goodbye to everyone for the end of the season and sharing some of the highlights of the season. Through some selected pieces from my prior shows. But this year has been a great year. I didn't have a lot of pieces left from prior shows, which is a nice problem to have. And I decided to paint a new body of work for today, for Columbus Day weekend, or Indigenous People weekend. And so I decided to do some work that was inspired by the serenity that I find here in Cape Cod, in Provincetown particularly. And I did a lot of thinking around serenity and the power of serenity, and I called this show Vigorous Serenity because for one reason is because I feel like the serenity that I get here speaks really loudly. There's like this empowered kind of peace, and it's really felt deeply. So it's vigorous in that way, and then it's also vigorous in the way that I feel like in most cases, any kind of peace and gratitude that I want to summon up in a moment takes some work, you know? It's like it feels like it's out there for me and I just need to grab it. And so it does take some effort on my behalf to reach to that serene moment. So speaking of moments, I've painted a lot of different moments that I'm going to share with you tonight, and there are some small moments and some large moments, some big moments, but they're all moments where I step into that place of feeling very serene and very grateful. You know, sometimes it's a lot more effort for me to get to it, and sometimes it's like knocking me over the head because of the beauty of this place. So I think that I've covered everything I wanted to talk about. I'm looking at my cue card again. Town is really busy, so you might hear some noise with people passing by. We're at the front of my studio, kind of in the window, which is where I have kind of a key easel that I share more recent work. And as we move through the show, I will be farther away from the source of the noise, so hopefully it won't be distracting. So I have 7 pieces, I think, to share with you, and one of them is a multi-panel piece. So, and then I'm going to talk with you a little bit about the Hope Project and then some other things. So let's get started. So I marked the floor for little places for me to place the camera. So bear with me as I jiggle it around as I do. So just seeing if there's any questions or anything. All right, so we'll start with the first piece. And this is called Autumn Dune Ride. And speaking of like moments, this is, I don't know why this is crooked. So this is, I'll step out of the view here. So this is a piece, it's 24 by 24, and it's really of the dunes out off the bike path. And it's a place where I get a lot of serenity and a lot of peace. So this is kind of an autumn scene. You can see the browning and the turning of the foliage to the autumn colors, and the dune beyond. The sky this day was just amazing blue, that sparkling blue. And the clouds were creating just wild formations. So it was kind of one of those moments where I stopped on my bike and took a couple pictures, and that's what I painted this from. So it's called Autumn Dune Ride, and it's one of the places where I feel that serenity. It's very quiet out there in the dunes, and when I'm all alone, that's pretty amazing. I love it. So that's Autumn Dune Ride. And we're just gonna roll along here. So this piece, let me adjust this a little bit. So you can see a piece from the last show in the distance there. But this piece in the foreground is called Sky Zest, and it's 16 by 16, and it's just this is like one of those little moments I was talking about. So this is just a beautiful sky, formation of clouds. I see a little orange sparkle in the light here, so that comes through as well. So this is called Sky Zest. It's very kind of soothing and ethereal in those blue and gray, white tones. So, let me move this back a little bit just so you can see it a little better. So yeah, it's kind of a simple painting, but that's really what some of the serenity is about, is those simple moments. So this piece is called Firewater, and it's kind of one of those big moments, you know. It's let me see if I can get the whole frame in. That would be good. I have to shift this. There, I hope you can see the whole piece. So this is called Firewater, and it was one of those big moments, you know. It's like when like my God or my spirit is, my spiritual life is coming to life really in a loud way. And it was one of those moments where the sky was electric and the water was full of fire. And so this is at Hatches Harbor, and it's looking in the distance, you can see Race Point light. But this is the harbor basin or the tidal pool that kind of fills up as the water goes in and out of Hatches Harbor. And again, it's called Firewater. So the link to all of these pieces are in the description here, so that you can like check them out a little closer. Not sure if you can see all the detail of this one. The water itself is, let's see if I can do this and zoom in so you can see the brush strokes. I love this area here, and there's some up here where I do this kind of dragging of the brush, and I think I've talked to you about it before. And I love the way that it creates this tension with the fabric, and I feel like it really creates energy. So this piece has a bit of that. So it's called Firewater. And I'm going to move on down here to the next piece. So this piece is called With the Tide, and it's just that lovely moment when you get the sun has dropped. So this is at Race Point Beach, looking at the sunset, and the sun is like obscured by some dark clouds and even kind of dropped below the horizon. So at that point, the water becomes almost iridescent, and you can see how the water kind of begins to soak into the sand as the tide ebbs. This piece, let me see if I could move this. This piece is 22 by 28. Oh, and if I didn't mention, the last piece that I was talking about being kind of a large moment, it's 30 by 30, and it's one of the biggest pieces in the show. But this piece is 22 by 28, and it's called With the Tide. And again, it's just that moment when you breathe deeply and just feel grateful for everything. And I tried to bring all that feeling of serenity and peace to these pieces, and I hope that you can feel those too. We've got some partiers outside the window here yelling, so hopefully you're not hearing what I am, but I'm going to keep going and show you the next piece, which is kind of a small piece. Hey Jim, thank you. And this little piece is 11 by 14, and it's called The Power of Stillness. And let me just angle this a little bit more, and I'll be able to zoom in a little for you. So it's called Power of Stillness, The Power of Stillness. And this is painted actually from a photograph that I took before I ever moved here to Provincetown, and it was in the fall. I was here visiting, and this was out in the moors in the west end of town, and it was after the sun had dropped, and it was just this amazing, still, very still moment, and it was so peaceful. I was in love with what I was seeing, and I took photos, and this image actually was my screen on my phone and my iPad for quite a while. But this is a small piece. Again, it's 11 by 14. And it's called The Power of Stillness. And again, all of these pieces are directly linked to the description of this video. And you can, if you're interested in any of these, you can check them out there. And shipping is free on all of these original works. So this piece you may have seen before. Sorry about the shakiness again, but this piece is called Sea Spray, and it was part of Vivid Tranquility 3 that was earlier in the season. And I'm showing it to you again tonight because this was one I used actually to promote this show. Having not painted yet a piece that I wanted to use as the promotion, I used this for my press releases, which basically have to go out sometimes up to 3.5 weeks before the event because of the timing of the different publications. So this piece is called Sea Spray, and it's that kind of beautiful moment for me. It's very abstracted, but it's that idea of the beautiful spray of the water and the light hitting it. This one is filled with light. There's a lot of layering of blues and light whites. So this one's called Sea Spray, and you may have seen this in the Provincetown magazine or the Independent newspaper this weekend. So the next piece I like to call, and it is titled Waves of Grace. And this is another kind of sunset, but this one is a little bit different in color than what I often do, but it's, you know, it's not too unusual here in Cape Cod to see these really amazing pink sunsets. So this is when the water, the tide, the surf was a little more active than usual, and so there was just this beautiful play of kind of the darkness of the shadow of the waves to the water, and that kind of beautiful moment when the water does go iridescent. So this one is called Waves of Grace, and it's 22 by 28, and so was Sea Spray, the one prior. So it's a fairly large piece, and one of those moments, you know, that speaks to me. So I can't tell if there's questions. Any questions from anyone? Maureen, you're in there. I'm just quickly looking through to see who all's here. It looks like maybe some people jumped off because there's not as many. Oh, there are. All right, so that was 6 of the 7 pieces of the new pieces, and this one is the next one to show you. And I'm going to take the camera off of the tripod at a certain point because of the reflection of the light. You're not really getting this this whole piece. So this is called Beneath the Surface, and it's a multi-panel piece, 6 panels that are 16 by 16 that make this up, and arranged the way I have it here, it is 38 inches by 60 inches. So it's fairly big, but I'm going to take you guys off of the tripod here so that I can try to get a better view of these blues. So this is, as you look at it from a distance, you can kind of see that it is really, when you look down at that beautiful crystal clear water, and there's kind of a surface movement, and then below it, there's another bit of movement that's really created from the light. So that's what I was expressing here, and I want to kind of give you a close-up of some of these pieces. So I'm trying to do this with that whole reverse thing that that the camera does. So these are the upper pieces. And then the lower pieces. And I love these kind of individually too. Each one I feel like is kind of a strong composition on its own. But when you pull them all together, it definitely reads in a different way. So I'm sorry that the camera is not giving it a lot of justice tonight, but it's quite an impact. So let me see if I can. Okay. So anyway, that is called Beneath the Surface, and again, it's a combination of 6 panels. You might call that a politic, but it's multiple panels. The other term could be a hexaptic, which would mean 6 panels, but that's playing off of the same language that triptych and diptych come from. I like to just call it a multi-panel piece. So That's much easier. So that's the show. That is Vivid Serenity, or Vigorous Serenity, sorry. And again, you can get to all these pieces on my website, and it's linked right there in the description. So let's see if there's any questions before I go on and talk about some of the other things that I want to talk about. Tina, the gallery's beautiful. What? You can't hear me? Paul, oh no. Can everyone hear me? Has it been kind of like not? Paul, can you hear me now? Oh no. I'm telling you, there's been some weird things going on with Facebook as they converted to all of these new templates, these new interfaces. I'm sure everyone's dealt with it on their personal page, but they also upgraded all of the business pages, and I actually have, I think, 5 business pages, so it's a bit much. Can everyone hear me? No one's responding. I hope you guys have been able to hear me, but if not, then at least you get to see the work. So I'm going to take this camera over here and talk to you a little bit about the Hope Project. So this piece is called Blue Iris, and I painted this as a fundraiser for the P-Town Gallery Stroll. So this piece is 12 by 12, and it's at auction, and there's a link on the P-Town Gallery Stroll site, and there's also a link from my website if you go to this piece under just the regular paintings tab. But there's a lot of great art that's being auctioned off to support the P-Town Gallery Stroll, which hopefully you've all enjoyed, as we've been changing art every week on Fridays. So this is the page that you'll get to if you connect through the P-Town Gallery Stroll. And these are all the pieces from all the various galleries. Oh, sorry, I thought this was in frame. And here you can see my piece, and it's currently at $350, but it's a $650 value. So I would recommend anyone jumping on and bidding against whoever has the most highest bid at this point to see if you can get this piece that's called Blue Iris. And so all of the pieces are painted, inspired by the idea of hope, and Blue Iris is one of the pieces, is actually a flower that has symbolized hope and faith over the years. So that's why I chose to paint a blue iris. And this is very much in the spirit of my birds and the bees work, or some of the other floral work that you've seen me do. Again, it's called Blue Iris. It's 12 by 12, and you can bid on it and get it at a great price. This is the URL, ptowngallerystroll.com, and at the top of the page is all the information about the auction and a link directly to the auction. So you want to definitely do that. And I'm just going to pull this camera back a little bit and step in here. So I hope everyone was able to hear. It was a little disconcerting to see that someone said that they couldn't hear me. But I just wanted to share with you that I've added another event. So normally, like I said, this is my ending of the season this weekend on what we call Indigenous People Weekend. I'm really not into crouching like that, so this is much better. So I added an event for November 14th, and the event is called A Winter's Tale, and it's going to be a lot of winter scenes. I painted a snow scene last year. It was the first one I'd done since I moved to Provincetown, and I loved how it turned out. And so I'm going to do some winter scenes of Provincetown, of Cape Cod, and there'll probably be at least, I would imagine, 7 to 8 of them again, so that I can fill the gallery like I do for these tours. And that'll be November 14th. So again, it's a Saturday, like this one is. Hopefully Saturdays are working out for everyone. It's kind of interesting to me because when I shared the teas for this earlier today, did not get the kind of reception that when I share teas on Friday morning. So I may have learned to do them on Fridays, and if that's the case, I'll let you guys know if it becomes November 13th, but it's planned to be November 14th, which I think might be Veterans Day weekend. But again, it'll be some snow scenes. I do a lot of great stuff for the holidays. You know, I have a holiday coloring book, and I do special ornament every year, and I'm doing one this year. So that'll be available probably in just a couple weeks. And then I'll do this event on November 14th. So I am gonna have surgery on my hand next week. I'm a little nervous about it because it's my painting hand. And it's a minor procedure. It's kind of in an office, but I'm still a little freaked out, and there'll be a bit of a recovery period before I can start painting those pieces. So I'll keep you posted and let you know how that goes. But I hope it all turns out well. Otherwise, I'll be learning how to use my left hand. So let's see, what else do I have to share? Oh, I wanted to tell you that this is the weekend of the monumental yard sale here in Provincetown, and a lot of retailers put a lot of things out on the sidewalk or have special bins of sale items that they are trying to get rid of or sell. And basically my story is I have some stuff I'm going to be trying to get rid of tomorrow and on Monday. So if you're local and you're in town and you want any kind of cheap t-shirts, mugs, or cards, I am gonna have that. So all t-shirts are gonna be $5, all mugs are $3, and all cards are $1. And a lot of those are derived from my comics. So you will see things from What's Weird About a Beard and Pucker Up available tomorrow and Monday. So that's it. That's Vigorous Serenity, and that's my October live stream. So hopefully I will see you all in November. Oh, let me see. And that's so weird. I'm just now getting these responses that everyone can hear. So that's good. Thank you. It's kind of weird that the comments weren't scrolling. They were just stuck on one. So I guess I need to scroll through. Anyway, thank you everyone. I will see you next time.